There's a question from some friends from somewhere in the world. The question is, in regards to sexual desire, is there anything beyond patient endurance that one should consider doing when certain thoughts arise, certain sexual thoughts arise? For example, contemplating the different body parts and organs. Could that not serve as a tool for trying to get rid of the unpleasant feeling of pressure, and thus it would remain in the domain of aversion and craving? It would be a practice done out of aversion and craving, contemplating those things. So is it right to do the contemplation, the Subha contemplation, in times when there is no unpleasant feeling or pressure, to make sure not to act out of the feeling?
Oh yeah. No, you should, certainly. That's where you should do it. Like, when there is a pressure, when you're struggling to restrain yourself and so on, endurance there, you have to endure it, and then a Subha, anything that can help you endure it. But when there is no pressure and stuff, that's where you would actually be practicing a Subha, because establishing those signs and features of a Subha, when the mind is clear and mindful, that will come in on its own when the pressure of sensuality and sexuality arises. So that's exactly the point. To not wait to practice a Subha only when there is a desire. No, that's actually not going to be a proper Subha. That's just going to be an absolute management of survival. When there is no desire, practice a Subha, dwell on it, and the clarity, the disgust of the nature of the body will be established. And even if you don't then think about it all the time, next time sexuality presents itself, there will be the framework to the extent that you've been cultivating it when the mind was clear. So the more you do it, the less of that pressure will be coming your way.
Because you can reflect that you are liable to these sexual thoughts.
Exactly. You know you are. So you want to practice. That's what we say. Like, even the sexual desire and the pressure, it's a symptom of you being in a sensual domain. But you don't want to be only dealing with that when symptoms are present. You want to recognize, okay, now symptoms are gone. I'm symptomless for the moment. I have all this space to move. Let me deal with it. Same for anger. Same for any unwholesome state. Let me address it when it's not there. Let me start contemplating what I need to contemplate. Endure what I need to endure. So when it does come, I'll have something to brace myself with. So that's exactly, because when you're doing a Subha, when there is sensual desire, you're doing it because you want to get rid of the sensual desire because it's painful. So it's never going to be as wholesome, as rightly ordered, as it would be if you're doing it when you have no sensual desire present. And then you choose to contemplate a Subha and dwell on it and maintain that theme, that clarity. So you're neither averse nor passionate, you're just looking at the clarity of the body, and that will settle in the deepest. And that's why when then, as I said, sensuality comes, aversion comes, well, this framework will be there because you have been cultivating it. It will be there on its own. You wouldn't need to, where's my Subha now? Oh, if you invested the effort before the sensuality came, a Subha, the protection of that seeing the ugly will be there. The more you develop it. Yeah. If it's not there, it means you haven't developed it sufficiently. So do it more. Once you sustain the sensuality and it fades away, start doing the work. Because you can't do the work and endure sensuality at the same time. Sure, enduring sensuality is the form of work, but not as efficient work as it would be when there is no sensuality, and now you're going down the way of abandoning sensuality when the mind is clear of it. By contemplating ugly, lack of satisfaction, all the suttas they talk about.
Impulsiveness in food.
Impulsiveness of food, the value of keeping the precept, dwelling on the unbroken virtue. When the sensuality comes, you probably just have to endure it until it goes away, and then you do the work. Then you don't think, I'm safe because it went away. No. I survived, so now I need to work. And there's that Mahanama in the sutta, the noble disciple, the layperson, but he was an Arya. When he asked the Buddha, how comes, for a noble disciple, Dhamma so clear, understanding, samadhi, all of that, but on some days, sometimes sensuality comes and the mind just doesn't see anything. It doesn't matter what you recite, nothing. All the mind sees is the sensual desire. And the Buddha said, for as long as the even noble disciple's mind, if he hasn't withdrawn itself sufficiently from sensuality, hasn't understood the peril of it, the gratification, that whole thing, hasn't experienced pleasure different to the pleasure of sensuality, i.e. pleasure of renunciation, the mind can still remain attracted to it on, not as much as an unrestrained Putujana worldling mind, but still it would go to it. So when it's not overwhelmed by enduring the pressure of sensuality, you do the work. And you do a lot of it, because you have greater results of it. In other words, it will be even more efficient to do it when the mind is clear. So that's why, yes, you try and sustain your mind as clear as possible and do the work as much as possible during that time. Sooner or later, aversion will come, sensuality will come, sexual desire will come. That's when you endure it, and then when it goes away, back to work. And that also can prompt you to do more work. You realize, oh, it's still coming. So I'll endure it to do more work. Then you did the work, it's still coming.
I'm not safe yet.
Doesn't matter, I'll do the work. It's still coming. I'll wait, then I'll do the work. It's still coming. I'll wait, I'll do the work. It's still coming. I'll wait to do it. Oh, it's coming less actually. Good, I'll do the work. Now you have confirmed that your work works. Oh, it's coming. Slightly less, but it's coming. I'll do the work. Oh, it's coming even less now. I'll do the even more work, because now I really know that this is working. And now it's not coming. Now I live in my work, which is I live in mindfulness and renunciation. And that's arahantship. But when people do it in a sense of comes, I do, goes away, I succeeded. No, that's not the work. And that's why you never overcome it, because your measure is just when it goes away. No. Your measure should be how frequently it keeps coming back, how powerful it is, how much I have to endure it, and not abandon the work. Work through that, because you are basically confirming directly for yourself that it's working. You're not relying on a circumstance of will sensuality come or not. If it doesn't come, maybe I'm free. If it comes, it doesn't matter. I'm doing the work. If it comes, it will come. If it doesn't come, great. When it comes, I'll just see how strong it is, how much I have to endure. I'll endure it because I'm accomplished in virtue. And then I'll do the same work more. And the time will come when it will stop coming. And there were many similes of a similar nature that the Buddha gave. Like the flies will keep trying to come and bite and land. If there is, raw, whatever, dirt present. But if it's clean, the flies will buzz. They find nothing useful to land on, they'll leave. Or the crows coming and trying to peck if there is fresh meat, rotten meat stinking and something like that. When it's gone, they'll leave. They lose interest and they will leave. They will be coming less and less frequently until they stop coming because of the work you're doing when they're not there.
Yeah, cleaning.
Cleaning, exactly. Polishing and cleaning. Yeah.
While they're not there.
Yeah. That's why it's important to always keep that liability in your mind as a criteria. Not like, well, most of the time I don't have sensual desire, so I'm fine. Great. Keep doing the work then. Then you have no issues with doing the work. Because the work is just a natural mode of an arahant that you're emulating through your work. Natural mode of dispassion. But if it's like, oh, I don't need to do the work because it doesn't come as often. I mean, you never done any work that matters. Because if you did, you will realize, can it come? Can it still come? And that's exactly that, the levels of purity the Buddha would still encourage monks to practice. It's like, if you have mostly clean white cloth, one little stain will be visible from afar because everything else is clean. It will really stand out. So yes, it doesn't come as often, but can it still come?
Yeah.
Yes. That is your work now. You still have to work. And that's how you clean it and free yourself completely from it. So if it's coming frequently or not frequently, doesn't matter. You keep doing the work. When it's not there, when it's there, you endure it, and you keep reviewing your mind. Can it still come? Do I know that it cannot come? Am I sure then I will not be affected? Not. Keep doing the work. Keep doing the work.
What is making me liable to this?
What is making me liable? Keep doing the work of that restraint, accomplishment, not acting out of unwholesome, all of that. Reviewing things, reviewing the nature of things you're attracted to when there is no attraction, reviewing the nature of things you're averse to when there is no aversion, and cultivating and forcing your mind to deal with it when there are no unwholesome states present.
Overwhelming.
Exactly, because they will be overwhelming you, and then all you would want to do is get rid of that. So then your whole practice revolves around motivation of I don't want this pain, and that's not the practice.
So the work when you're not overwhelmed by sexual thoughts is, for example, to review the body, the organs, for example,
in a very authentic, clear manner.
Yeah.
Not just go anatomically without any awareness, but no. Things that you would be attracted to, that cause attraction, desire, start seeing those things when there is no desire, learning how to see them as unattractive. not any random thing that makes no difference to your sensuality. And then things basically you sensually value, or things you value when you're averse, when you're not averse, or not with a mind of sensuality. That's when you go back to those things in that mindful sense, and then learn to see them in the opposite manner. Attractive as unattractive, hateful as neutral, not hateful. Why do I need to hate this? And sustain those themes, dwell on those themes, contemplate those themes on the basis, if you by the way, all this can be only done on the basis of your own virtue. If you've not been contemplating virtue, practicing virtue, keeping the virtue, all of this would just be abstract theory and response management. So then when it comes, you will not be too overwhelmed with I must deal with this, because otherwise I might break. So hopefully next time it will come weaker and weaker and weaker.